Okay, this is Doug Jones, guys, in Bend, Oregon. It's the middle of April, and Vollara is exploding. And the purpose of this call is for people who are serious and really want to take advantage of this incredible momentum that we're about to enter. Actually, we're already entering. I just want to create a presentation so you know what our accountability group is going to be like going forward. What's going to happen is we're going to do about a 4-week accountability group just to kind of get everybody in the groove. It'll be kind of a 13-week year light version. But I'm going to go through tonight the 13-week year book, just a summary real quickly, so that you can get a taste for where we're going to go later, because this is going to be a kind of a preview of a full 13-week year program that Mike Jackson, the senior rep at Volara's master distributor, will be running starting, I believe, in May. So anyway, we're going to do this until he starts, and I believe it'll be about 4 weeks. So here we go. So here's where we are. By the way, this is the S-curve in business. It's taught at every business school in the world. Every product that goes from obscurity to popularity goes through this exact same curve for reasons I described last week in the little video I did about the product adoption cycle. So what I want to do now, rather than rehash that, is just get on with the what this means to us. What is Volara's S-curve? Guys, here's what we need to know. Bottom line is we're here. We're right in the beginning. We've just entered the momentum phase, I believe, in this business. In February of this year, just a couple of months ago, from January of 2020 to February 2021, the company's sales volume, and therefore the payout to distributors, grew by 11 times. In other words, 1,100% growth in 14 months. That's pretty serious. But then between February and March, we doubled sales and doubled payout to the field, just between February and March. I have no idea where we are in April, but I know it's better. So, guys, it is exploding. So we're just at this beginning. But every company goes through the formulation, concentration stages, and then if they're lucky enough, they get to the momentum phase. Well, guys, this company has been around over 10 years, gone through formulation, concentration, and we're hitting momentum. And what causes that inflection point in every case, whether it be this kind of business or Nike shoes or Snapple soft drinks, there's a catalytic event that triggers that growth. That catalytic event, guys, was December 14th, when the press release showed that our Air and Surface Pro takes 99.9% of COVID out of the air in 3 minutes, the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So that was our inflection point. I believe as we go forward, we'll see that that's when the growth pattern changed in a big way. So what does that mean to you? It means that you don't want to be standing on the shore fishing with a pole when this explosion of growth occurs. You want to be in an ocean-going trawler pulling miles and miles of net. Because what we have here with Vollara, guys, is a business worthy of our energy because of the massive amount of money we can make, especially because of the timing situation in front of this growth curve. Also a cause worthy of our passion, because what we're doing is getting these units into every building we possibly can. When we get enough of these units into rooms throughout the world, then viruses will no longer be a problem, because this doesn't just kill SARS, it kills viruses, bacteria like MRSA, mold, and fungi. So it is an amazing product that we have in our hands, and getting that word out to everybody you care about is, in my mind, a responsibility, but certainly a cause worthy of our passion. And then because we can do this virtually, we have a lifestyle worthy of our dreams, because we can do it from anywhere. So it is a pretty amazing opportunity. For those who want to get serious, then you need to understand that if you want to be paid like a professional, you have to become a professional, right? If you want to be paid like a professional, it just makes sense. You must become a professional. So here's where we're going to go with this accountability group. You need to get clarity around your why, because there's all kinds of times you're going to have to do, if you want to succeed, you're going to have to do what you don't feel like doing when you don't feel like doing it, right? And so you have to have a why that's big enough to drive you to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And you need to have goals. Without goals, all there is work, and we're enslaved by it. Goals allow us to know if we're winning or losing, and we can make adjustments if we're not winning. But if we don't have goals, we don't know if we're winning or losing. All there is work. So we have to have goals. We have to have goals for the long term, but also for the week and the day. We'll get into that in just a minute. And without a plan, goals are just a wish, right? So you have to have a plan to reach the goals. Income-producing activity is the activity, the energy, and the daily routine that creates the results, right? You can control your activity. You can't control your results, but you can control your activity, and you can adjust your activity if you're not getting the results from it that you want. And we'll talk about that. And then the key to that, the key to knowing whether it's working or not, is measurement. And when results are measured, guys, Chuck Coonrod, a very smart guy a long time ago, said when results are measured, results improve. When that measurement is reported, the improvement accelerates. So measurement and reporting is important if you want to be a professional, and accountability. In other words, you're responsible for your results, and you have to take ownership of that. And so we'll get into that here. And we're going to do this in the context, whoops, a little bit too fast there, in the context of a book called The 12-Week Year. If you're not familiar with this, I promise you want to get it. This is a book that is about getting more done in 12 weeks than most people do in 12 months. And right now, if you can compress results into 12 weeks in front of growth of the kind that we're going to see, this explosive growth, then amazing things can happen, because growth multiplies and magnifies effort. And I don't know about you, but I could use my effort multiplied and magnified every day, right? But we're in the right place at the right time for that to happen. And this book gives you a structure, framework for really implementing every day so that you get a lot more done. So this book is based on this idea. It's not what you know. It's not even who you know. It's what you implement that counts, that makes a difference for you. So you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do, right? Talk is cheap. So what you do speaks so loudly we can't hear what you say. So it's really important that we focus on results, and results come from correct activities consistently done over time. So the 12-week year is about compressing time and getting more done in 12 weeks than most people do in a year. So if you read this book and implement what you learn, then you can experience amazing results in every area of your life. So this book, in the book, you'll learn how to take back control of your day. Wouldn't that be great? So that you can actually be proactively in control of what happens every day. How to significantly increase your income. How to balance the priorities in your life so you don't feel guilty when you're working and because you're not with your family, and guilty when you're with your family because you're not working. I mean, get rid of that guilt. It's totally easy to do by using some basic tools for balance and getting it all done. How to lower your stress level. Less stress would be good. And how to accomplish goals in record time. A lot less time than it may have taken you before. Maybe you haven't accomplished goals before, and now this is going to be a new experience, because we're all going to accomplish some amazing goals, not so much because we're good, just because we're in the right place at the right time and we have some structure here to it. So part one of the book talks about what it takes to perform at your best. It's kind of this conversation tonight is a Reader's Digest version of part one of this amazing book. Part one just sets the table. Part two reveals the execution system that actually enables you to operate at your very best every day by creating clarity and focus. That's so important, the clarity and focus on what matters most to you, and a sense of urgency to do it now. Those two things, if you know exactly what matters most and what you need to do to accomplish the things that are really important to you, and you have a sense of urgency to do it today rather than tomorrow, then great things can happen. So if you don't own this book, I want you to fix that tonight, right? Get the book. By the way, getting it is important, but it's a necessary but not sufficient condition. You also have to read it and implement it, right? So, but it starts off with getting the book. If you don't have it, get it. It's called The 12-Week Year. By the way, it's been the business bestseller, #1 bestseller for about a decade. So it's that important. Almost every major Fortune 500 company uses this somewhere in their organization. So what the 12-week year does, implementing it, is creates a new end game date for you to assess your success or lack thereof. In other words, you're not judging yourself annually. You're judging yourself every 4 times a year. So the deadline is always near enough that you won't lose sight of it. That's important, because an annual deadline doesn't drive you until fall, right? But if you have a 13-week deadline, it's going to drive you every day. It forces you to confront your lack of execution so that every day automatically becomes more important. It narrows your focus to the week and the day, which is exactly where execution occurs, right? In the moment. You no longer have the luxury of putting off critical activities. Also, you now experience the anticipation of a new year every 12 weeks instead of every 12 months. So if you had a tough 12-week year, you can shake it off and start again. If you had a strong 12-week year, you can build on that momentum and do another one, right? So it ensures that each week and each day counts. So the emotional connection, guys, I can't stress this enough. To execute successfully, we've learned it's essential, and I mean essential, to have a strong emotional attachment to the outcome. The number one thing you're going to have to sacrifice in order to achieve what you're truly capable of and to execute the activities that will create your desired results, the one thing you're going to have to sacrifice is your comfort. Therefore, it's the critical first step is to create a compelling personal vision of the future that you want, even more than you want immediate comfort. In other words, something that will drive you out of your comfort zone. And then aligning your short-term goals with that long-term personal vision. Vision is the starting point of all high performance. I'll say it again. Vision, this clarity around what it is, why you're working, your why. Your why is the starting point for all high performance. So without a compelling personal vision, you're going to find that there's no reason to go through the pain of change because you're going to have to change something if you want to change your results. The results you have today are based on what you've done up to today. If you want to change those results, you have to change something in your life, and that's painful, right? We hate change. We are humans. We all hate change. And if you're going to create a breakthrough to new levels of success, you're going to need to move through fear, uncertainty, doubt, and discomfort, right? And it's your personal vision that will keep you in the game when things become difficult and when it becomes uncomfortable, which it will. It's your vision that will drive you to do what you need to do when you don't feel like doing it. Vision is the first place where you engage and clarify your thinking about what's possible for you. You must clearly define what it is you want to create. If you can't see it clearly in your mind, it's not going to drive you to get it. And so a compelling vision creates passion once you have that really crystal clear vision of what it is you're doing this for, your why. Then you have a passion around what you do every day. And it makes work a lot more fun. In fact, it makes it into a game. So the business vision is most powerful when it's developed in the context of your personal vision, right? Because the business objectives are not an end in themselves. Nobody wants to build a money bin and swim in it like Scrooge McDuck. The business objectives are the means to an end that fulfills your personal vision. Once you clearly understand your personal vision, only then can you define your business vision. Your business vision is the level of production and income that your business must deliver in order to support that personal vision. It's the connection between your personal vision and your business vision that provides you the inner strength to forge ahead in spite of the difficulties, problems, challenges that for sure you're going to have to overcome along the way if you're going to win this game, any game. So having a plan to achieve your business vision is essential. Without a plan, a vision is like a goal. It's a wish, right? You have to have a plan to execute to get to your goal, to your vision. So working from a plan has three distinct benefits. It reduces mistakes, it saves time, and it provides focus. Planning allows you to think through how best to achieve your goals. Within the 12-week year, the idea is to become great at a few things instead of mediocre at many things. I'll say that again. The idea is to become great at a few things instead of mediocre at many things. So the plan also provides a framework for execution and measurement. Your plan starts with identifying the results goals for the 12-week year period and then tactics that need to be determined. They're the daily activities that drive attainment of your goals. What do you have to do every day in order to hit that 12-week goal? The tactics must be specific, actionable. In other words, they have to be well enough defined that you know what to do. They have to be measurable, how much, how many, by when, and they have to include due dates. There has to be a deadline for these activities. The 12-week plan is structured so that if the tactics are completed on time, then the goals are automatically achieved. We'll go into that in a later training. It's so powerful. But if you get to the point where you really understand this, as long as you create a plan based on reasonable conversion ratios that really are based in reality, then if you're willing to work the numbers, you can't lose. It's so powerful. So the plan provides a framework for execution, step-by-step roadmap that eliminates procrastination delays and demands immediate action. That's the key. It causes you to be in immediate action all day, every day. So scorekeeping functions as a reality check. That's why measurement is so important. Scorekeeping is a reality check that provides real-time feedback, just like playing sports, on both performance and effectiveness. Performance is carrying out your daily activity. Effectiveness is it working, right? Maybe you have to do something different than what you had planned for your daily activity if it's not being effective in terms of moving you toward your goals. So that's why you have to measure, because without measurement, you won't know this. So effective measurement removes emotion from the evaluation process. It's only about activity and results. The reasons don't matter. If you didn't achieve the result, the only reason that why you didn't achieve it matters is so you can change it, right? So no excuses. It's about results and not excuses. Measurement forces us to confront reality even when it's uncomfortable. And guys, when the results are not great, it will be uncomfortable and you'll be tempted to quit. So the sooner we confront reality, the sooner we can adjust our action in order to produce more desirable results. So the best way to measure your execution is to work from a weekly plan that's based on your 12-week plan and evaluate the percentage of planned activities that actually happened, that got completed. Your weekly plan lists the critical actions you need to take each week in order to achieve your goals. And then when you evaluate that, you can decide, did I get that done, right? So your weekly scorecard measures execution, not results. Just talks about, did I do the activities I planned to do? That's it. And it provides an objective measurement of how well you executed on that plan. Not what the results were, but the plan. If the plan is not producing the results, we change the plan, right? But once you have the plan, you have to execute on that so you can tell if it's working or not. An 85% completion rate is considered good. If you have a 100% completion rate every week, you're not pushing hard enough. So there will be times when you don't execute well. Guess what? All of us go through those, and you'll score poorly. People often drop out at that point because they lack the courage to face the reality. Guys, this happened to me in the mortgage business. My boss had me tracking how many sales calls I had every day or actual conversations. And when it got to be 4 or 5 days in a row with zero, it was depressing. I stopped tracking it. He didn't make me keep tracking it. I wish he had. I probably would have done much better. The discomfort of a poor weekly score creates productive tension. And you want to use that productive tension to adjust and improve your results next week, right? Not as a reason to quit. That's something you have to watch out for in the system, because when you're tracking all the time, if it's just lousy for a week, you need to change things so it's not lousy next week. Otherwise, I promise you will quit. And if you don't want to quit, then don't do that. So during your weekly planning time, you evaluate last week's score and develop your weekly plan and your daily plan of action for the coming week. If something needs to be changed, you need to change it. That's your weekly opportunity to adjust to the reality, right? So it's the daily plan of action where results are created. The daily plan of action is where you set priorities for the day so that you know exactly what your required actions are throughout the day. You don't have to wonder what to do. You know what to do because you planned it. It's your daily plan of action that prevents you from being pulled off task by all the crises and urgencies that try to steal your time throughout the day. It shows you exactly what you need to do today to move toward fulfilling that compelling personal vision. And remember, it's the compelling personal vision that will cause you to focus on the activities that you planned rather than the things that are less uncomfortable or seem more urgent. So time blocking is the key to this, guys. The reality is that if you're not purposeful about how you spend your time, then you leave your results to chance. That's worth saying again. The reality is if you're not purposeful about how you spend your time, in other words, if you're not spending your time on purpose, then you leave your results to chance. We can only control our actions, not results, but our results are created by our actions, right? So we can control our actions and ultimately control the results by that, but we may have to adjust those actions to create the desired results. But results always come from action. The actions that we choose over time determine our destiny. That's pretty heavy. The actions that we choose over time determine our destiny. It's the actions every day that are building the life that we're going to have in the future. So time blocking is a key part of the 12-week year. Otherwise, just the things of the day and life in general will get in the way, right? Life can get in the way pretty easily, and it will eat up your valuable minutes. You can't eliminate distractions, but you can block off non-negotiable appointments with yourself. the only thing in this whole presentation that's highlighted because it is the key to success, creating non-negotiable appointments with yourself for the income-producing activities that must be done every day. Once you've got that down and once you're in the habit of doing that, then your productivity will soar. For a very good training on this time management concept, including powerful concepts like the 4 quadrants, Stephen Covey's 4 quadrants of time management, the weekly roles and goals from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and this time blocking concept, watch the video called Time Management Magic. The link is listed in our Tools for Tour Guides document that's usually attached to the team emails I send out from Doug at AskDougJones.com. By the way, that is not my regular email. Doug at AskDougJones.com is my autoresponder, so you ought to save that in your contacts so it doesn't go to spam. My regular email is optimumgoodhealth@gmail.com. So that's the distinction of those emails. But both of them should be in your contact manager so none of them go to spam. So accountability, this is where it really could get uncomfortable, but where you can really make breakthroughs. Accountability is not about consequences, it's about ownership. It's about owning your actions and results regardless of circumstances. Owning your actions and results regardless of circumstances. In other words, not making excuses, just making adjustments if it's not working out right. Accountability is the realization that you always have freedom of choice. There are no have-tos in life. There are only choose-tos. Life is a series of choices. Choices always have consequences, and our choices produce our results. Choice of what actions we do produces our results, and the bad news is not choosing is a choice, right? So when we're talking about accountability, the only things you can control are your thinking and the actions that you take, that you choose to engage in. But those are enough if you're willing to own them. The only person who can hold you accountable for anything is you. You must choose to develop the mental honesty and the courage required to own your own thinking, own your own actions, and own your own results. One of the best business books I've ever read is called Extreme Ownership, about this idea of owning your results. If you want to do a screenshot of this or whatever, I'll give you a second. It's by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Jocko was the commander and Leif was the executive officer of SEAL Team whatever in the Battle of Ramadi. I think it was SEAL Team 2. In the Battle of Ramadi, you may have seen the movie American Sniper about Chris Kyle, but he was in SEAL Team 2 at the Battle of Ramadi. That's what that movie was about. These guys were running that SEAL team in that month-long battle, and they take examples from the battle and apply them to business, and extreme ownership is the most important in there. It's about owning your results. So I highly recommend that book as well. Commitments are a big, powerful part of the 12-week year concept. So this is what it all comes down to, guys. It comes down to making commitments. The ability to make and keep commitments improves results, it builds trust, and it fosters high-performance teams. Commitments defined as the act of being bound emotionally or intellectually to a course of action. So we all know intuitively that the ability to make and keep commitments is fundamental to effective execution and high performance, right? So when we commit, we do things we wouldn't ordinarily do. The if goes away, and there's only how, because we're committed. So 4 keys to successful commitments. The first is strong desire, a clear and personally compelling reason. That's your vision, right? To commit that will keep you on track through the problems, frustrations, and difficulties of fulfilling that commitment. Key actions, consistently doing the core actions that contribute most to the desired results related to the commitment. And this is really important, guys. And I want you, when you're considering being part of our accountability team here, I want you to do this. Count the cost. Commitments have both benefits and costs, both tangible and intangible. Counting the cost before you commit allows you to choose whether the benefit of the commitment is worth the price you're going to have to pay, right? And number 4 is act on commitments, not feelings. And here's the most important thing in this whole presentation, guys. Choosing to do the things you need to do when you don't feel like doing them is the core discipline of successful people. Choosing to do the things you need to do when you don't feel like doing them is a core discipline. So you have to act on your commitments and your decisions and your plan, not on how you feel. So our commitments ultimately shape our lives. They support sound marriages, they create lasting relationships, they drive our results, and they build our character. There's something incredibly empowering about knowing that if you say that you're going to do something, you can count on yourself to get it done, and you don't have to hedge your bets. So that means you need to have greatness in the moment. So what is greatness in the moment? Most people are running so fast that they're in one place physically and another place mentally. They're multitasking, and sometimes physically multitasking. And you're most effective when you're mentally in the same place you are physically. Athletes call that in the zone. If you've ever been in athletics, I've played rugby for 20 years. I'd say I was in the zone maybe 2 or 3 times. I'll never forget it. It's totally different. That happens in business too. I've fortunately had it happen more times in business, and it is amazing when you're totally present and in the zone and great things are happening. So greatness is not achieved when the results reached. No, it's achieved long before that. It's when the individual chooses to do the things necessary to become great, right? You don't have to be great in order to start, but you do have to start and work at it in order to become great. So the greatness is achieved along the way. The result is only a function of what's gone on before. So it's not the will to win that creates greatness, guys. It's not the will to win this game. Everybody would love to win. It's the will to prepare to win. The will to prepare to win is everything. Winners do a lot more preparation, a lot more practice than they do playing, right? So the will to win is not what creates greatness. It's the will to prepare to win that creates greatness. The difference between greatness and mediocrity on a daily and weekly basis is slim, but the difference in results over the long term is tremendous. Don't settle for less than the life you're capable of. Choose to be great each day and then watch what can happen in just 12 short weeks in this 12-week year process. One challenge most of us face is balancing our time and energy between work and family, community service and recreation, exercise and relaxation, personal passions and obligations. Too much time spent in a single area can create burnout and steal your joy or create ineffectiveness. But life balance is not about spending equal time in each area. That's a misconception a lot of people have, and therefore they're never in balance. Life balance is not about spending equal time each day in each area. It's about intentional imbalance from time to time. So life balance is achieved when you are purposeful about where you spend your time, energy, and effort. At different times in your life, you're going to choose, because it's a choice, you're going to choose to focus on a few areas over others. And that's fine, provided it is intentional. Life has different seasons, right? Each with its own challenges and blessings. The 12-week year is a terrific process for helping you live a life of intentional imbalance in order to have overall balance by putting primary focus on a few areas of your life for every 12 weeks. So think for a minute. Just imagine what could be different for you if every 12 weeks you focused on just a few key areas of your life and made significant improvement in those areas for that 12-week period. So how do you decide one of those things to focus on? First, you want to start with your own personal vision and then rate yourself in each area of your life, all the 8 areas of life balance, which is faith, family, fitness, friends, finances, community involvement, and personal growth. Those are the 8 spokes on the wheel of life that Dennis Waitley used to describe. And if you are 10 in a couple of them and 2 in a couple of them, that wheel of life is not going to roll very well, right? You want all of the spokes to be at the same level. So if they're all 8s, you're going to have a better life than if a couple of them are 10s and the rest of them are 2s. So you've got to push out toward 10 in each area, but the areas that need the most work is where you need to do the most work. So the 12-week year has the power, guys, to increase your income 2, 3, or even 10 times, especially combined with the amazing timing in Vollara right now in front of massive growth. It also has the power to help you gain the same improvement in any area of your life that you choose. So please get the book, and of course getting it is a necessary but not sufficient condition. You have to read it. I would suggest more than once, and then apply the 12-week year principles in all areas of your life and be prepared for some amazing things to happen. So most people won't get it. They won't get the book. Some people who get it won't read it, and some who read it won't apply it. But guys, be the exception. Do all 3 of those things. Successful people do now what others won't, so they can live later like others can't. So that's it, the 12-week year. This is the original book, and this is the newer version. It's called the Field Guide. Either one works fine, I believe. I actually have not read the Field Guide yet, but I'm told that it's just fine. You could get that one only and do the great job with it. But what we're going to do with this 12-week year concept is, as I said at the beginning, Mike Jackson, who's the master distributor of Vollara, is going to start a new company-wide 12-week year program probably in mid-May or June. So until he starts, we're going to have an accountability group starting next week, I believe on the, what did I say, the 19th? Anyway, it'll be in the email. We'll have an accountability group starting for people that are serious. This is, if you want to be in the game every day, it doesn't matter if you're full-time or part-time, you get to set your goals. We're not going to set goals for you. So part-time, maybe your goal is a couple of contacts a day. If you're full-time, probably ought to be 5 or 6 a day. So we'll be discussing that on the first session, which will be next week. And I hope that you'll participate, because I promise you that we are in front of something very special here in Vollara, because not only of what our product does for people, but the fact that we have a 24/7 news cycle that is, basically a $1 trillion a year marketing campaign driving people to our product. As Joe Urso, our chairman, said last Monday in that great company Zoom, we're the only people in the world that have any product that has been cleared by the FDA to eliminate viruses in indoor areas. Everything else that's being done in this pandemic is defensive. We have the only offensive weapon that can go indoors where the virus actually lives and breeds and spreads and kill it. Right? The viruses do not spread outdoors. People wearing masks outdoors, you don't have to. It doesn't happen because our product does indoors what sunlight does outdoors. It oxidizes water and oxygen and creates hydroxyls and hydrogen peroxide that attack and destroy viruses, fungi, mold, etc. So that said, we're in front of something very special. So I'm asking you, if you want to consider making a very special commitment over the next 4 to 6 weeks before Mike starts his, to be in a simple little accountability group with us. And the goal will be to get, a minimum number, whatever your minimum is, of presentations done each day, and sorting done each day. Sorting is simply to get people to watch the 2-minute video and look at the link with the press release about the killing COVID, the SARS-CoV-2 virus in 3 minutes. So that's going to be the goal for next week, and I will look forward to working with those who want to work in this team together and hold ourselves accountable to our own goals. So guys, have a great evening tonight, and if this is something you want to do, just shoot me an email at optimumgoodhealth@gmail.com or call me at 714-334-8333. Let me know you'd like to be in the accountability group. And we will get started next week, which is going to be, let's see, we're at the 13th today, so it's going to be the 20th. So I will look forward to working with those who want to work, and for everybody else, if they're not ready for this, that's fine. I'm still available to help you in any way I can. So have a great evening, everybody, and thanks for being here. Okay.